All right, let's fucking blast off, goddammit. Okay. MAGA copium time. Cat eating memes go viral. You and Felix were hilarious last night. I realized that, like, just judging by the last 10 minutes, I think people probably don't understand anything. When Felix and I are just like bantering back and forth, people either don't understand a single fucking thing that we're saying, or they just take it super seriously, which is probably even scarier than not understanding a single thing that we're saying. Like, there's like probably fucking 10 people that are like, oh yeah, these guys are joking, and I get the references. I don't know. Felix is less autistic, so we can tell he's joking. That's crazy. You said Felix is less autistic than me. That's crazy. MAGA copium time. Eating memes go viral. Hogwatch and so much more. Fucking let's do it. If you and Felix had leftovers like podcasts that she would pop off, I don't know if it would, to be honest. I feel like, yeah, I think this chatter is correct. No, he's more autistic, and that's why we can understand him, because we're just as autistic, is what one chatter said. Before you begin, have you seen the baby hippo? Yes. Actually, though, you believe Deng's reforms are the best course of action for China? I think regardless of like ideological purity, a lot of the things that Deng did ended up panning out quite well for current Chinese material conditions. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if I would consider myself to be a Dengist, but look at China now. Leftovers only worked the way it did because H3 already had the name recognition. I mean, yeah, I think like me and Felix having a podcast together would just, look at Chapo. Chapo was endlessly successful. I'm relatively successful myself. I think that's it. We've maxed out on the leftist memes. Are you going to have the Blowback Boys on to promote their new season sometime soon? Yes. Why does your wiki page say it's written by a fan while also saying you support Hamas and Islamic Jihad? My Wikipedia page says I support Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Great. Fuck it. Why not? Who cares? But yeah, Wikipedia, I think, ultimately gets a lot of... I think Wikipedia oftentimes has a tendency to get very, very right-wing. Coverage of military conflicts. During the invasion, Piker, in partnership with CARE, raised over $200,000 for Ukrainian relief efforts. During the 2023 Israel-Hamas war, Piker's charity drive on the channel raised $1 million as of October 21st. He also spoke on the conflict and on Piers Morgan along with Ehud Barak. Other ventures after the Turkey-Syria earthquake, political views, leftist, progressive, socialist. He's advocated in favor of workplace democracy, universal healthcare, intersectional feminism. Piker cited his upbringing in Turkey under the premiership of Recep Tayyip Erdogan as an influence both his left-wing views and is willing to speak about them. Piker supported the presidential primary campaigns of Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020. He's been an outspoken critic of both the Democratic and Republican parties. He also opposed Trump's travel ban, has been a critic of Islamophobic people, offensive stereotypes, hostility, and negative attitude towards Muslims. No, this is pretty good. What do you mean? In January, Piker interviewed a Yemeni self-proclaimed pirate who filmed himself on the board of Galaxy Leader. In the aftermath, Piker was criticized by the Anti-Defamation League for having justified the atrocities of October 7 and conducting the interview after he defended the Houthis' actions, expressed support for terrorism against the state of Israel, and shared propaganda from Hamas and Islamic Palestinian Jihad. Yeah, this is kind of funny that like they put this up here. Wait, did the ADL even criticize me? I thought it was Stop Anti-Semitism. It wasn't ADL, was it? Where is this? Oh, they did. They wrote about it. Okay. In Piker, 2021 purchased a $2.7 million house in West Hollywood, California. That's crazy. God damn, I got hella awards. I didn't even fucking realize, bro. Look at this. God damn. How many fucking awards have I won at this point? God damn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-time award-winning Hasanabi broadcast. I didn't even know this shit was like that. Did you know this? I had no idea. I thought ADL was not a valid source to use on Wikipedia. Am I wrong? I thought Wikipedia was moving away from utilizing ADL as like a valid source. I like that every single thing here makes sense, and then they just like kind of added that. It's banned, Lamau. Yeah, why the fuck is that still on the page? From the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal, the LA River, in the heartland of America, the 5-time award-winning Hasanabi broadcast? Yeah, the Majority Report. Yeah, bro. Wikipedia defense editors deeming Anti-Defamation League unreliable on Gaza. Yeah, why the fuck is that still on there? Maybe they should take it off. Anyway. Okay. But yeah, it just, I don't know where y'all came up with this shit, but do we have a blast off meme today or what? The Majority Report. That's why it says needs update. They're waiting for another source that would corroborate before removing it completely. Yeah, I think people desperately try and people desperately try and like, you know, edit that Wikipedia page with like insane shit on a regular fucking basis. But they most likely have a hard time doing that because there's like a lot of, you know, valid, real mainstream sources that have covered my background adequately, you know? Racist mad Caitlin Clark isn't also racist. That's so funny. I love that. 5 awards is not nothing. You're wrong. Okay, do we have a blast off meme or not, man? Do we have a blast off meme or not, chat? I feel like y'all are slacking, dude. I'll be honest. Okay. Hawk Tua. That's how I feel. Cute blast off GIF. I can't use GIFs. I can't download GIFs off of Twitter. Okay, we'll do. Oh, before we move on, I'm gonna do the Hasanabi guesser, the daily Hasanabi guesser as well. Did the Zin Tower survive the earthquake? Clearly, it did. As you can see. So wait, are you serious about the Hawk to a girl being a Shining Path supporter? Yes, bro. She literally did she personally said that she was devastated by the death. Oh shit. What am I doing? What the fuck? Here you go. The start of the Hasanabi Dailies arc. Let's go. Let's see what this is.
People that listen to me. All pedophiles. Whoever don't like Trump is a pedophile. Believe me.
Hey, we got a fucking based Italian.
There's no side of my story. Self-explanatory. Okay. Never happened to a sitting president yet. Okay.
He fucking destroyed him in the marketplace of ideas over here. Hey!
You want to live off of us? Free money, free housing. Listen, free checks. Let us please let the working man pay for you. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Work for a fucking living. Let's see what the fuck it is.
Oh my God, what a king. What a king. He said, I'm walking here. Get the fuck out of here.
This was obviously during the Trump documents saga. If you recall, this is when Trump was raided by the FBI. The boy had 50 stacks in the chat. Okay. Chatterino was at 2.3.5 version. We're at Chatterino 2.5.1 version now. What time frame was this from? I think it was 2021. Or was it 2022? When the fuck did he get raided? No, he got raided in 2022, right? This might have been like what? I mean, I don't know. I can't tell from my hair either. 50K viewers who rated. I don't know why you shit on the long hair so much. It actually looks really good. Bro, all it takes is one fucking good long hair moment for you to be like, oh, it looks really good. You're just saying that because it looks good here. That's it. 50K viewers who rated the FBI, motherfucker. Get it? Long hair, good. Middle part, not good. What is this? Among people who take high dose of prescription amphetamines such as Adderall or Vyvanse, there's a 5-fold increase of developing psychosis mania for the first time compared with those who weren't taking stimulants, a new study found. Oh my God. Do you think this is the reason why so many people are insane? Are they just on Adderall? Is that what it is? Cutting your hair short and clean shave makes you look 10 years younger. Crazy how that works. I know. It works crazier than the fucking top of the hour ad break, which is not a great segue, but I have to run it because it's 12:04. Anyway, we're going to get to the news now, but before we do, all right, top of the hour ad break, and also I'm going to figure out the Hasanabi Daily here, my daily GeoGuessr. What time frame is this fucking clip from? I think it's from, was it June? Wait, it says blue? Or, I mean, what blue? What the fuck? Well done, comrade. I don't remember when this shit happened. Dude, you guys are, I said blue. What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with my brain. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Let's just run it. I think I'm getting dumber and dumber every day. I like straight up. I think I'm just getting stupider and stupider every fucking day. I'm forgetting times. I'm forgetting everything. I just like, have you been taking Adderall? No, it's not. It's not the fucking psychosis. Okay. I think it's just straight up watching too many goddamn Republicans, dude. It's making me stupid. Did you see Marianne Williamson jumping on the Haitians are doing voodoo with Cash Train? It is the least surprising thing. Remember, I interviewed this woman who was running for president. That's all I'm going to say, okay? I should have collected all of the crazies in this election cycle, and I should have done an RFK Jr. one too, and I never ended up doing it. Studies have shown that manic conspiracy theory people have naturally higher levels of dopamine, so it makes sense that Adderall, a drug that increases dopamine levels, could cause mania and psychosis. Yeah, I don't think any of those motherfuckers are on Adderall. I think they're on meth, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think personally that those guys who are fucking crazy are crazy not because of Adderall, but because of fucking straight meth, okay? In your 30s, you get less plasticity and can't remember or adapt to changes easily as you would at a younger age until you're like 50, and then you have the ability to build up more plasticity. Wait, what? After 50, you get more malleable? That's weird. That's surprising. Jake became, I guess, more malleable to the right after his 50s. Hassan, you stream 40 hours in 3 days. Your shit is cooked. Damn. RFK Jr. said Chinese Jewish people created COVID and he's still the least racist guy in the election. I wouldn't go that far. His opinions on Israel are damn near fucking identical to everyone else's. RFK Jr. is so funny because, like, not only is he virulently anti-Semitic, but he also just straight up is, like, as big as a dick rider of Israel as everybody else in the race. Wonderful stuff overall. You will never be able to get a fucking candidate that goes, what the fuck are we doing with, like, the $7 gazillion we're giving to Israel every fucking day? What is happening there? You know? It's really cool. It's really cool that there's, like, not really any fucking valid major third party fucking challenger that's like a Ralph Nader type, you know what I mean? Who's like, hey guys, a lot of this shit seems fucked up, don't you think? Above average anti-Semite, he has takes on specific tribes. Yeah, that's how you know he's more anti-Semitic, because he singled out the Ashkenazi Jews, bro. That's like, it's like the fucking Groypers with their obsession with the Talmud. It's like, most American Jews don't even fucking know what you're talking about. These motherfuckers are like, I read the Talmud. It's like, what are you? Are you a fucking rabbi? Why did you read the Talmud? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? It's like the fucking Islamophobes who are like, oh, did you see this surah in the Quran? It says, like, you know, the Prophet Muhammad did the pedophilia and loved it or whatever. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, shut the fuck up. It's the dudes that do, like, advanced lore to be more transphobic, for example. They, like, learn everything about trans existence so they can, like, manipulate it to their transphobic advantages. It's like the weirdos who are super Islamophobic that then, like, learn all the wrong things about Islam just so they can make a better, more coherent fucking argument about how Muslims are somehow unique in terms of how they operate. Don't you do the same thing to right-wingers? Yes, I do. That is why I am so fucking tapped in. That's exactly what it is. Yes. I know my enemy, okay? My enemy are fascists. My enemy are right-wingers. So yes, you are absolutely correct. Yeah. I have no issue with that. Yes. Do you? Do you consider my enemies to not be valid targets? Do you not also consider them to be enemies of mankind? I do. I'm not like Tim Pool. I don't personally think like Ukraine is the enemy of America. I think right-wingers are the enemy of America and the world. Some of them are also liberals.
Presidential election, the candidate stepped away from the campaign trail yesterday to honor the nearly 3,000 people who died in the 9/11 attacks. The nominees shook hands at the event with President Biden at Ground Zero in New York. This morning, the Democrats say they are starting an aggressive new push. Nancy Cortez is covering the Harris campaign in Charlotte.
I'm assuming you mean the extreme right-leaning ones and not the ones leaning towards the middle. I mean, the ones leaning towards the middle are Democrats, and I hate them too. So I guess ones leaning towards the middle, I consider to be an enemy of progress. If you are an enemy of progress, you are an enemy of mine. If you're an enemy of standing in the face of improving the material conditions of people all around the world, uplifting workers, then you are my enemy. Okay, that's it.
Nancy, good morning.
Nate, good morning to you. And they're actually using that phrase, aggressive new phase, to describe what she's embarking on now. They say that now that the debate is behind her, the convention is behind her, she can really step up the pace of campaigning. And so she's going to be doing 2 rallies here in North Carolina today, one here in Charlotte.
Is Democrat middle seems like they're the same party. I mean, they're pretty close. At least in the way they message, they are desperately trying to be like, no, we love the Republican Party. We are the Republican Party.
And then in Greensboro, and then she's headed to Pennsylvania tomorrow. They say that they are going to work to capitalize on what they view as major momentum coming out of the debate on Tuesday night. In fact, the campaign says that it's going to be releasing a slew of new ads featuring clips from the debate, with the first one being released today. And now the question is, will they debate again? In a couple of interviews yesterday, former President Trump said he's not inclined potentially to debate again, since in his view, he won the first debate. But as you know, Harris has been...
Yes, I am working class Yankee, adjacent Canadian, but I can't see how it would be politically advantageous for Harris to cede the middle ground to Republicans by moving left. She may pick up some voters by changing her Palestine policy, but I believe that it is too risky to make a drastic change when the election is tight. Nor do I think Stein is capable of winning or governing. In a first past the post election, it doesn't seem wise. First of all, you just said a whole bunch of shit coming back in and chirping as the libtard Canadian, okay? There is not a single vote that's like, we want more genocide, please, okay? So you're wrong on that front. It would not be risky at all. It's just the media tells you that it's risky, and you have no capacity to analyze this in any way, in a critical capacity. You just like, you hear that being repeated, and you don't even question it at all. You just go, that's the truth, because you're a liberal, okay? Yeah, don't engage with me earnestly. I am engaging with you earnestly. I'm just telling you what it is. I never fucking advocated for Jill Stein, nor do I think that she would win anything. I'm not going to fault people for wanting to vote for her because she like doesn't, there's no valid alternative that's like an anti-genocide vote out there. But having said that, I do routinely make fun of people who are like, if you vote for Jill Stein, she will win. Now, that's number one. Number two, okay? Harris is not ceding middle ground to the Republicans by moving left. That's not a real thing, okay? Harris is currently simply working against her best interests. Kamala Harris has a lot of votes that she could pick up by addressing the real hurt and the real harm that a lot of people have experienced. Now, she's not necessarily charismatic enough to launch a bold campaign regardless, but at least like a couple solid policies here and there that pull very well would genuinely improve her, the way that people look at her. Okay, she's a blank slate. She could use this blank slate, especially at a time when people were tired of Joe Biden, not just because he was old, but also because like they were tired of establishment Democratic Party policies all the way back in 2016. And that problem still exists for a lot of people that are non-voters. She could pick up those people. She could pick up those people by being like, I see you, I hear you, this is what hurts for you, and I'm going to fucking fix that shit. All right? Instead, she forgot why she was popular to begin with. She forgot why people were excited for her to begin with, and is just trying to make sure that this is as close a race as possible. It's fine. That's what it is. The average middle class is already iffy. No, dude. And by the way, yes, you are a libtard because you say libtard ass shit. Like, the average middle class is already iffy, okay? Like, you make it seem like if you were to tell people like, hey, I'm going to give you more health care, okay? Like if you make policies like we're going to expand Medicare, okay? We're going to expand Medicare. We're going to lower the eligibility age to like 55. It's the most popular welfare program in the fucking country. It's the most popular government program in the United States of America. Despite its state of disrepair and underfunding, it is still one of the most popular goddamn policies. Expanded to 55. You could just say that. That was Sherrod Brown's take, okay? And that was actually not even fucking progressive enough. I'm a Medicare for All supporter. I'm a nationalization of healthcare supporter. Having said that, however, she could at least go out and be like, the public option. That's what Joe Brandon said. Okay, Joe Brandon was like talking about how he's going to do the public option. Never talked about it ever again because he's a piece of shit. Okay, why is Kamala Harris not doing that at all? It's dumb as fuck. Okay, this is a major issue for people. Another major issue for people is rent. Okay, housing prices. You're not gonna fucking solve housing. Yes, you voted for NDP when you lived in Edmonton. You're a libtard. Okay, NDP is also libtarded. Shut up. And I say this as someone who literally fucking promoted and played Among Us with Jugmeat. Okay, shut up. There is no liberal party in Alberta. The NDP was their only non-conservative option. Do you think the NBC fact checker was extremely biased during the debates? You mean the ABC fact checkers? No, they weren't. The only biases that they had was that they were biased towards the fucking truth and doing their goddamn job. And I think because Americans have completely forgotten that, like, you know, normal adults don't say stuff like Trump on a regular fucking basis, especially when they're like running for a powerful position, that they were shocked that like the media for once did their goddamn fucking jobs, dude. Are you kidding me? Hassan, are you voting for the Democratic Party? Absolutely. I'm writing Joseph Robinette Brandon. I mean, they were biased. Yes, they were biased towards U.S. imperialism. That's what they were biased towards. But that's, you know, that's expected. Oh, yeah. All right. Dog, Canada is ruined. I, as a First Nations man, got priced out of the entire country and had to move in with my American native mother in an upstate New York slum. Jesus Christ. Donald has completely lost it. Yeah, they're really going on this. They are really invested in this cat narrative, which I think is kind of funny. Fuck it. YOLO. Let him run with it. New Trump post, by the way, he's declining a second debate. That's unsurprising. All right, let's get back to this.
Pushing for at least one more. Now, as for the endorsement heard around the world, we are told that there were more than 330,000 visitors to vote.gov yesterday after megastar Taylor Swift announced she is backing Kamala Harris and directed her fans to go to that site to register to vote. So a big bump in traffic. We will see if that holds. As part of this aggressive new phase, the Harris campaign says she's going to be doing more local interviews.
I think he will regret that if the polls change dramatically. You will see minimum 2-point bump for Kamala Harris, because a lot of people are really like, a lot of people who are voters in general, okay, like they love to vote, okay, those people are just like, they want the permission. They are embarrassed, okay? They're embarrassed to go out and fucking vote for the Democratic Party, and they want the permission to like publicly declare that they're voting, okay? So the Taylor Swift endorsement, the debate performance, a lot of that stuff gets the libtards to be like, oh, I'm voting. Yeah, I'm voting for Kamala. She cooked it. Look at this fan cam. It's like still that vibes-based attitude in some ways, okay? Because her performance was fantastic. Donald Trump's performance, on the other hand, was god-awful. So it will give a noticeable bump, and they will use that noticeable bump to be like, the momentum is still there. I think that beyond that noticeable bump, I think that might hopefully get Trump to come back to the table to do a second debate, because I really want a second debate, because it's awesome, especially because he got cooked so fucking hard. Having said that, you are not going to activate people who have previously voted for the Democratic Party but think like, my shit sucks. I'm not going to vote for Trump, but I'm not going to vote for fucking Kamala Harris either, until you go to them and you say, I'm going to fix the grocery prices situation for you. I'm going to fix your rent situation for you. I'm going to fix your roads, all this shit, okay? I'm going to fix your infrastructure. I'm going to bring up minimum wage for you. You're going to make more money. You're going to have more fucking dollars in your pocket at the end of the goddamn year. And we're going to do that shit. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you directly. If you run around and you say, we're going to give $50,000 in tax cuts for the startup economy, you're cooked. You're fucking cooked. Okay? That's not tracking well. That's not going to be like the people that you saw in Springfield. Okay? Those people have been fucked over for generations at this point, okay? And in that fucked over, that generational ass fucking, they have become incredibly angry people, incredibly resentful people. They are in a state of disrepair, and they're primed to fucking hate. They're primed to get angry at anything and anyone. And the Republican Party expertly goes, hey, guess what, dude? You know who you should be angry at? Black people. And they're like, okay, yeah, I am angry. You're right. It's the Haitians. I don't know how many times I can say this. This will be probably something that I repeat until the day I die. Okay? It is something that I've been repeating for the past 10 years. Economic instability, economic volatility creates an environment, especially caused by austerity and wealth inequality, creates an environment for people to become more and more reactionary, especially when one side is saying, you are angry and you're right to be angry, and it's actually the homosexuals and the Jews and the black people that are responsible for your shitty situation. Meanwhile, they just rob you fucking blind. They run your pockets like the little bitch that you are, okay? And you got nothing going on, especially because on the other hand, the fucking other party is never going, no, dog, it's the rich people. What are you talking about? They run the show. Why are they not saying that? Because they're also run by the rich people. That's it. So be vague. Don't give specific and detailed information. Gotcha. Is that your takeaway from this? You can be as detailed as you want. I think on the messaging front, you can be an advocate for bold policy changes and demonstrate messaging discipline. But yeah, no, you should absolutely say, no, I am going to give you health care, okay? I already gave you a policy on that front. A policy that is incredibly moderate, by the way. Expanding Medicare coverage to lowering Medicare eligibility to 55 is literally the most almost idiotically fucking bare minimum thing you can do. It's a gimme. It's a literal gimme. It pulls at like 70% historically. You do that, you win by Reagan numbers forever, okay? 55 plus are high propensity voters. You give everyone over the age of 55 Medicare, an objectively popular government healthcare system. You are locked in, okay? It's the safest, it is the literal safest fucking thing you can do in terms of expanding healthcare. Okay? It's not even bare minimum. It's beyond bare minimum. That's not vague at all. There's nothing vague about that. That's a direct policy. It's a policy that I gave you an example, like a person like Sherrod Brown in Ohio has run on that policy. Okay? A lot of people, I think, refuse to hear the words that are coming out of my mouth because they have these biases that they're primed to believe, like the Democrats are actually the adults in the room. They must win, and the Republicans must lose, and this guy's a naysayer because of some secret reason. It must be because he's just upset about fucking Gaza or some shit, and he's not telling me the truth. He's just fucking, I don't know, lying, right? Or Hassan, he has only surface level opinions on stuff like this. He never scratches the surface. And then when I do scratch the surface, so many of you don't fucking hear me. It's frustrating. Trump makes people I care about afraid. Immigrants, Muslims, etc. Because of this, I find him reprehensible. God wants better of us. 2016. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about like all the hate crimes that are exploding in fucking Springfield, Ohio. I wonder how many Tyler Oliveira is directly responsible for. Shouts out to Tyler Oliveira. Tyler Hitler Vera. Piece of shit. But yeah, let's parse over the words of let's parse through the I want the most hard-dicked, most lethal military of all time conversation one more time, you know? I understand posturing pressure, but the ballot box seems like a simple trolley problem. A conservative federal boot makes local and state progress even more difficult. I know this is not. Listen to me. I am a committed believer in democracy. Okay? That means I believe in certain fundamental principles, like, for example, that politicians need to earn your vote. This argument is dangerously close, if not directly the underpinning of the harm reduction voter argument. Democrats are not entitled to your vote, okay? Out of fear of the other side, you might make this calculation in your mind, and that's great for you, okay? Go off, kings and queens. If you want to vote for the Democratic Party because harm reduction, that's valid, okay? There's, increasingly less things that you can harm reduce on because the Democratic Party keeps throwing major policy prescriptions away. All right. Having said that, however, that's valid if you want to do that. But you also have to understand, okay? Losing the savior conscience, the shit strategy, you are fucking stupid because you refuse to listen to the words that are coming out of my fucking mouth. Why are you refusing to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth? No one votes like that. You are a fucking nerd. You vote like that because you're locked in. Average people don't care about politics because of the attitude that they experience, the things that they experience on a day-to-day basis, okay, in the day-to-day lives. You are privileged enough to care and talk about the privilege that you have and say, I have to vote for this party over the other because the other party will ruin so many other people's lives. And then you want to feel good about it, okay? You want to be like, look at how good I feel. I did the right thing. I did the right thing to stop, undocumented migrants from being fucking purged from American soil. I agree with you, okay? I agree with you on principle in terms of like, what the Republicans will do if they get their wishes across, okay? Having said that, that's demonstrably not how people vote. Why the fuck would they care about being Team Democrat and helping Team Democrat win over Team Republican if Team Democrat is not offering them anything? So when I advocate for the Democratic Party to offer people things so that they get motivated enough to get off the fucking couch, okay, take the leap of faith and vote for the Democratic Party, you come in here and you argue against that principle. You are arguing for the Democratic Party to lose, okay? You are arguing for the Democratic Party to lose. That's what you're doing. And you've done this in 2016. You did this in 2020. You're doing this again right now in 2024. Okay? It's great. It's wonderful that you think the average person, the bus driver, the fucking guy who's like the janitor or the guy working the assembly line, guy working at the fucking Amazon distribution facility is gonna fucking, after a long day of work, going to come to the conclusion that like I have to be a harm reduction voter, but they don't care about that. You want to know why? Because rent is impossible to fucking keep up with. Whatever amount of disposable income you could have potentially had, it's going directly into your rent. It's going directly into your inflation. And they don't care about anything else. Why should they? So you have to go and talk to that person. You have to tell that person. You have to beg that person to come out and vote for you. You have to make sure that that person understands that you are fighting for him or her. But the Democrats don't do that. They just sit around in their fucking ivory towers and they say, if you don't vote for us, fascism will thrive. And that's correct, technically, but ain't nobody gives a fuck about that because from their perspective, they're like, well, I'm dying anyway. My shit sucks. My shit sucked with Trump. My shit sucks with Kamala Harris. Who the fuck do I vote for? Ain't nobody has my best interest in mind. Okay? So you can fucking complain in here about harm reduction voting all day, every day. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's just simply not how politics works, though. Okay? And it's inherently undemocratic. Harm reduction voting comes with the entitlement, the attitude that the Democratic Party must not earn your vote, but should take it for granted, okay? So you can be theoretically correct. You can be technically correct. You can send me as many Noam Chomsky videos as you possibly can send me about how he, at the age of 957, when he was there when democracy was fucking invented, says every goddamn 4 years, like, you have to go out and vote for the Democrats out of harm reduction. It's not a question. You can do that every fucking election cycle. I've done it, okay? I've seen it. I've seen it every election cycle that I've covered professionally, okay, since 2016. That does not matter. It does not move the needle, okay? That's it. So it's additionally shocking to me that the libtards in this fucking chat are like, nah, I'm anti-democracy, dog. The Democrats don't need to earn your vote. You need to shut the fuck up and you need to go out and vote for them every single time. But that's not how people operate. So why the fuck are you in here advocating for the DNC and their ineptitude if you're not getting paid by them? Because I duke it out with chatters sometimes, and there are notable chatters in this community who do work for the DNC, okay? But at least they're getting pay stubs. You're fucking Canadian. You're not even an American. You're not even in America, dog. Like, how the fuck do you just go, nah, dude, you don't understand. Like, this is the right way forward. I've been yelling for months about how the Democratic incompetence in terms of not communicating against the Republican insane reactionary sentiment that the Republicans are just like outwardly declaring about migrants is going to lead us into direct Hitler territory. We are there. Okay, we are fucking there. Times may change, but the tango is to keep requiring two bipartisan. Partisanship is revolting. What? And it'll be our downfall if not more. Realize and organize. Use the same scare tactics they use on us, on them. What does that mean? What is this? And then the Republicans come back into power and they do Hitlerian policy only to have the Democrats use said Hitlerian policies to their advantage to fucking fundraise and win another election and then not do anything about it. Okay? That's the problem. And that's precisely what the Democrats did with abortion. They waited and waited, and the Republicans kept fucking needling on the issue of abortion. They used the fucking Supreme Court of the United States to take away that right, and the Democrats fundraised off of it. What good is that? What good is that for the fucking red state teenager who is a victim of rape, who can't who can't go and get this medical procedure? What good is that for that person? It's just a talking point. It's disgusting. That's it. You were so much hotter back then. I know. Yesterday was a very different me. I think a lot of people in here, what is this? I think a lot of people in here just feel like our voice isn't being heard in general. I wish there was more outlets for us to make a change. The right also think that voting for Trump to reduce the harm by not letting the left win. Dude, no the fuck they are not. Maybe you're talking about like straight up Nazis on the right, but abso-fuck not. No, the right demonstrably never vote from a defensive posture. What the fuck are you talking about? Fuck no. Look at polls. 70% of Republicans say they're voting for Trump, okay? As opposed to around 60 to 70% of Democrats routinely saying they're voting against the Republican, okay? Against Trump. Look at the goddamn polls. They say it. People say it. You think it. That's the funniest part, because this is a relatively independent, relatively progressive space in comparison to many other outlets online. So you obviously must feel that the party doesn't fully represent your best interests. And even then, you are advocating for the position of someone else, someone that you have read about on MSN or read about on New York Times or seen on MSNBC coverages. And you have like built up in your mind that there is this mythical guy out there. I don't like what the Democrats are doing. I don't like what the Democrats are doing, but there's some other guy out there that really does, and that guy's going to vote. That's literally what you fucking operate on. If you're in here, that means you probably don't like it. That means you probably want more from the Democratic Party. I don't think I have a single goddamn person in here that in their minds thinks like, oh no, the Democrats are doing everything that I want. Like they want exactly that. Like, is there a single person in here that is like, no, I think the $50,000 for startups is a phenomenal policy. You know, I think that permanent genocide in Gaza, phenomenal policy. I am voting for Kamala Harris for these reasons. I am voting for Kamala Harris because she said she wants to have the most lethal military. No, you don't believe that. Okay? You don't. That's why you always do this wishy-washy shit where you're like, well, I don't really like it, but there's someone out there that must like it. Obviously, these guys are the adults. Like, I'm sure if they calculated this decision, there's got to be some mythical guy out there who really likes it. And then you don't even, you're also shackled by your own lack of imagination. What do I mean by this? Like, you don't even imagine a guy that fits that dynamic. Like, can you think of a guy, especially in one of these fucking key states like Pennsylvania? Like, you think there's a guy in Pennsylvania that's like, oh, I'm so glad Kamala Harris said she wants a lethal military? Like, I love that. That was like the greatest thing that she said. I'm a big fan. I am the NATO voter. And Trump does this regularly, and we laugh about it, and you think it's funny when I make fun of him. Ain't nobody in Pennsylvania is like, I'm a Viktor Orban voter, right? Where's that guy? So it's funny when he says it. The kill shot to the dumb fuck chatters is the acceptance that the vast majority of voters who do not vote in this country are far more left on economic issues than the Democratic Party are. Centrist non-voters are not real. I know. Wait, don't get mad, but why is $50,000 for startups bad? Because it's not a winning fucking strategy, okay? $50,000 in tax cuts for new startups is just fucking silly as shit. Like, it's a silly ass thing to try to win these supposedly much more conservative voters in these swing states. You know? It is a good policy if you want to fucking make childcare more affordable and you want to expand child tax credits. And that kind of still sucks because it's not like a direct cash infusion, right? I wish it was. Like, it just is unnecessarily complicated, but fuck it. Like, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Say that, okay? Run with that over and over again. Kamala Harris was great in the debate. Will that be enough to win? Bernie thinks that he can just like go on MSNBC and be like, I love Dick Cheney saying Kamala Harris is the best. And then he writes this article thinking that a single one of Kamala's like top advisors, most of them are just like, you know, Robinette Brandon workers, like Joseph Brandon people, are going to take him seriously. They are not. I think Bernard would have had more fucking play if he ran for president. Last time he did that, twice in a row, the Democratic Party had to switch their positions to an objectively more populist, pro-healthcare, pro-social safety nets position. Okay? Straight up. I think he would literally do better if he was just like more active and I don't know, if he was more of a threat, I guess. Or 30 years younger, that'd be great, yeah. It's important that Kamala Harris continues to define and expose Trump, but it might not be enough to secure a victory. No, this argument is the same argument that I make all the fucking time, dude. That's it. The American people want change. That's what Harris must deliver. He needs to fucking, he's saying, stick to policies. Tell people what you're going to give them. That is like the most basic, that's politics 101, okay? In a theoretical Western democracy, that's politics 101. So funny that we are so far removed from this notion that like voters are not entitled or sorry, the party is not entitled to the voters voting for them, that those votes must be earned. We're so far removed from that reality that all the politics understanders in the chat keep fucking yelling about harm reduction, thinking that like the guy who is, you know, having a hard time making ends meet is going to be motivated enough to go out and vote with that attitude alone. They don't give a shit, dude. You just sound like an annoying little loser to them, okay? And I give a shit, and you sound like an annoying little loser to me. So you're not really doing anything. Do you get it? Please stop. Like, you're correct. It's great. I love how correct you are, okay? I love how correct you are. It's just not going to work. Because if that worked, Hillary Clinton would have been the fucking president in 2016. And I'm not. Kamala earned my vote by not being Trump. Law, sorry. I'm not. No. Do not misunderstand me. If you want to go out and vote for Kamala Harris, if you're on the Mamala train, that's great. Okay? But that's not what we're talking about right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or is this something that people are purposely obtuse on because they just don't want to hear what I'm saying at all? Because we're not talking about you. I'm not talking to you. Okay? This isn't about you at all. If you've made up your mind, that's great. Fantastic, okay? Phenomenal. But if we're talking about strategy, how to get people who are not going to vote for Kamala Harris to go out and vote for Kamala Harris, they have to do certain things. Is this basically just the forced to vote thing again? I feel like this was when, no, I was not for forced to vote. What the fuck are you talking about? This is just like basic fucking electoral politics. This is me putting on my staffer, my analyst hat on to just be like, these are the things that she needs to do. And I use vague terminology for people to understand. I use reductive terms for people to understand better. And then I also dive deeper into policy as well. But like, this is me being like, listen, if you want to win, you got to do these things. If you want to win by wide margins, you got to do these things. And last but not least, and this is the most important part, okay? It's good for the country, okay? It's good for the country. True leadership requires you to demonstrate moral courage, okay? Instead of just sitting around and being like, team sports sweaty. That's why, and I'll say this over and over again. That is why a lot of the other content creators that might tell you the things you want to hear in terms of like the Democrats are the best and the Republicans are meanie bobinis, and that's true. Okay. Well, the second part is, like those people are so often wrong. Do you think that I'd like have the gift of prophecy or some shit? No. I think I'm not as radical as what my haters claim I am, especially when we're talking about the election, right? So I mean, really though, what are we supposed to do? Just not vote? You can say I'm an idiot, but it sounds like what? We lose no matter which party wins. People saying voting for Harris is voting for genocide, so we shouldn't do anything, so it doesn't matter at all. I'm just that dumb. I don't know if I'm just that dumb. See, this is the problem, dude. I never said any of these things. Like, I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, you are upset about, I don't know, what you've seen on Twitter, and that's hurt your feelings. Okay? So now you come in here with those feelings, and you just say, you're fucking calling me dumb for wanting to vote for Kamala Harris for harm reduction. It's like I'm not saying anything. I'm like, go ahead, have fun. Have fun. Vote for Kamala Harris. Vote for Kamala Harris illegally. Okay? That's not what this conversation is about, okay? And I will never tell you not to vote in general. I think that voting is good. Like, Noam Chomsky is right when he says it's the least significant, most consequential thing you can do. He's right. Yeah, Biden is in office right now. Hate crimes on Haitians. Harm reduction. I feel like this annoyance comes from people's brains short-circuiting during election years where everything you say is heard as being declarative of what you should do. And they just don't listen to descriptive statements like if politicians say X, voters will do Y, which is interpreted as if politicians say X, voters should do Y. Yeah, there's a little bit of that for sure. Okay, there's definitely a little bit of that. I think people firmly commit themselves to a specific camp. And for a lot of people in this community who are progressively minded people, harm reduction makes logical sense because it does, right? They don't recognize that, especially if they've only like been interested in politics for like the last 2 cycles, let's say, they still haven't developed this this understanding that like it kind of seems like the things that the Democratic Party is harm reducing on are just getting smaller and smaller, and the window of harm reduction is getting shorter and shorter as well. Like I'll admit, it was shocking to even me, a person who has been very interested in the nerdiest ways possible in American politics for quite some time, who's been doing this professionally for 10 years. I was shocked at how fast the Democratic Party went from we're running against Donald Trump's immigration policies. If you don't vote for us, you want kids in cages, to we want to actually do Donald Trump's immigration policies just 4 years prior. That was shocking. To summarize, your point isn't that harm reduction is wrong, but that it doesn't convince undecided voters at all. Exactly. But the problem is, because a lot of politics understanders in air quotes, are really, really invested in this political process, and that political process is basically just team sports. It devolves specifically into team sports. They are watching MSNBC and they're hearing harm reduction, and that's the only thing they can think about in terms of like motivating people. And that shit doesn't work. It's fucking annoying. You would never sell a product. If you've ever been in a sales position, or if you've ever been a marketing position, if you've ever been approached by someone who does sales, right? If you haven't personally done it, this kind of like woke scolding is genuinely annoying. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine someone trying to fucking sell you something by being like, if you don't fucking buy this product, the other product is going to be successful and it's going to kill people? You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Even some libs like Hayes now are recognizing, they're realizing the Hitlerian nature of American immigration sentiments. It's partly ludicrous and partly funny. By the blood libel being stoked against immigrants is genuinely dangerous and disgusting. They have no shame, but they should be ashamed. And if they're religious, they should repent and ask God for forgiveness. All the same disgusting bullshit was said about Jews before pogroms and immigrants before lynching and riots. They said it about it. Yeah, Chris Hayes is a Hasanabi head, but he seemingly hasn't been watching a lot of my latest coverage because I've been fucking screaming about this for a while. I remember you constantly saying this in 2020 for Biden. You'd say the liberals don't just want you to vote for Joe Biden, they want you to be happy about it. Yeah, exactly. I did say that a lot. They would get mad because I was criticizing Biden in the same exact way. They'll get mad in the same exact way now, too. They'll be like, well, what the fuck? You're not sufficient. Well, I'm not even like openly pro Kamala or anything either. So like, at least in 2020, I was like, listen, like, you know, Joe Biden, awful, horrible, but that's the choice you got. This time around, I'm not doing that at all, okay? Vote for whoever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. Sorry. If you want my undying loyalty, you got to give me something.
America.
And
like
the things that I
down
want,
the
and the things that I want are you know, pretty fucking valid. Things that I want are openly popular things that everyone else wants as well.
But that's not what we heard from Donald Trump. Instead, it was the same old show. That same tired playbook that we've heard for years, with no plans for how he would address the needs of the American people, because you know it's all about him, it's not about you. Well, folks, I said it then, I say it now. It's time to turn the page. Turn that page. Turn that page. Because, to your point, America is ready for a new way forward. We are ready for a new generation of leadership that is optimistic about what we can do together. That is why Democrats, Republicans, and independents are supporting our campaign. Over 200 people who worked for President George H.W. Bush, President George W. Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney have endorsed me for president. Former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congresswoman Liz Cheney are supporting me as well. Because,
like, I get why she's saying this because she's in fucking North Carolina. Okay? I get why she's saying this. She's in North Carolina, but that's like an ad, okay? That's an ad that you run in very specific suburbs. That's not what you come out of the gate swinging. Look at all the young black men behind you and young black women behind you. Look at all the young people behind you. They don't give a fuck about Dick Cheney. They're just clapping because you're saying that, okay? I get why you would make this argument in North Carolina, make no mistake. But like, that's not what you come out with, you know? That's not your like immediate posture, okay?
With affordable child care, paid leave and affordable health care. A future where we build what I call an opportunity economy so every American has an opportunity to own a home, to build wealth, to start a business. And you know, I talked about it the other night. I love our small businesses. I really do. I love our small businesses. And there are many of whom are here. And the thing about our small businesses is they are, you know, so first of all, my mother.
Chatters, what do you think is a larger number, okay? Regular workers or small business owners in this fucking country? Okay? Serious question. What number is larger? People who own small businesses or people who work in fucking retail? People who own small businesses or people who work at fast food restaurants? People who own small businesses or people who fucking are delivery drivers? Who do you think? What is the larger number? Okay.
$1,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses. Because, you know, not everybody started out with $400 million on a silver platter and then filed for bankruptcy 6 times. But a whole lot of people have the ingenuity, the entrepreneurship, the work ethic.
This is like
and
electoral
the ambition
poison.
to do that kind of work and just need to be
33
seen
million small
supported
businesses in America.
for what they
She's
are
talking
and
to
what they do
10%
for
of that
all
crowd
us.
statistically. Okay, here's also the funniest argument. Who do you think is larger in numbers? Small business owners or people who work at small businesses? That's it. There you have it. Okay? What's the larger number? Guy who owns a small business or guy who works at a small business?
I have a plan to lower the cost of living for America's families on everything from health care to groceries. Under my plan, more than 100 million Americans will get a tax break, and thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money.
What percentage of those groups
will go
donate and
back
show up to
into your-
vote? What are you talking about? In totality, the number is far larger. It doesn't matter if the higher percentage, there's a higher propensity of voters in one group over the other. Like what? At that point, you have the totality is significantly larger, chatter. What the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about millions of people versus hundreds of millions of people. Hello? Yeah, it's the start a small business, not continue a small business. It doesn't matter, dog. It doesn't matter. The reason why I'm saying that, what is the number of people who own a small business versus the number of people who work at small businesses, means people who even want to start a small business and have started a small business and have successfully continued their business, okay? It's a smaller number. There is a larger group of people out there with genuine issues in their lives, okay? And you can address some of those problems. You know what else is funny about this argument? If you were to make broad declarations in terms of policy, like fucking saying stuff like, we're going to do federally mandated paid leave, okay? Every other country has it. We have to have it. You know who would benefit from that? Like a lot? Fucking small business owners. You want to know why they benefit from it? Because they don't have to cover that anymore. That's not an amenity that they have to give to their workers. No one has money to start a small business. I'm agreeing with you. Okay, I misunderstood. I'm so primed for fucking liberals to come in here and yell at me.
Tax. I call it a Trump sales tax. Because it will be a tax on everyday basic necessities, which the economists have measured will cost the average family nearly $4,000 more a year. And the top economists, they've previewed our plans. They've reviewed them.
It's like, the question is, again, fuck, she's doing the top economist shit. The question I have to ask you once again is, like, what do you think is the larger number / the larger concern? People who have enough capital, okay, to start a small business and are just like looking for that $50,000 tax cut that will truly benefit them, or people that don't have $400 extra to spend on an emergency. In the United States of America, you don't have to look that far. I know what the number is. It's the second thing, okay? It's people that don't have $400 in their fucking bank accounts to spend on a medical emergency or just any emergency whatsoever. That number is much higher than the people who have like scrounged up enough dollars to be able to start a small business, but this is really going to give them the leg up that they need. Okay? It's like laughable to compare either of these things. Okay? You're right, you need a day off, making it kind of toxic right now. No, you need a day off because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break and you won't see those ads for the entire day if you take a day off. Here's the 3-minute ad break. Now we're going to move on. I'm going to hear what Kamala has to say. Okay, here it is.
Concepts. No actual plan, concepts.
Oh, she's cooking
And
him.
understand what's at stake on that. 45 million Americans are insured through the Affordable Care Act. And he's going to end it based on a concept and take us back to when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Well, we are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. No. We will move forward. We will move forward because ours is a fight for the future and it is a fight for freedom, like the fundamental freedom to this issue because Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe versus Wade, and they did as he intended. And now, in over 20 states in our nation, they have what I call Trump abortion bans, including North Carolina and every single state in the South except Virginia. Think about that. Every single state in the South except Virginia. Now, 1 in 3 women in America lives under a Trump abortion ban, many with no exceptions even for rape and incest. It is immoral. It is immoral. And I know we all here understand and agree one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do with her body. And what we know is that the impact of this is, it's been over 2 years now since that decision came down. The impact of this is so real. It's affecting people every day, just based on the stories we know, and there are so many stories we don't know. Think about it. Because of Trump's abortion bans, women are being refused care during miscarriages. Some are only being treated if they develop sepsis. And when asked on Tuesday night, Donald Trump refused to say that he would veto a national abortion ban. You remember that? He refused to answer that question. Refused to answer that question. Well, I'm going to tell you, when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. And across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on other hard-fought, hard-won fundamental freedoms and rights, like the freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water, and the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. And North Carolina has a history of the point I'm about to make. Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. And now the baton is in our hands. It is in our hands. So we who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. And we who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws. So much is at stake in this election. So much is at stake in this election. And understand, this is not 2016 or 2020. For a number of reasons, including why the stakes are higher, because 2 months ago, the United States Supreme Court basically told the former president that he will effectively be immune no matter what he does in the White House. Think about that. Think about that. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, right? He who has vowed that if reelected, he'll be a dictator on day one, that he will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies, and has called for the, quote, termination of the Constitution of the United States of America. Think about that. And let us be very clear. Somebody who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again. Never again. And one of the points that I mentioned on Tuesday, so the people who served under him at the White House, who saw him every day, right? His national security advisor, his defense secretary, his chief of staff, and his vice president, all have warned, all who worked with him every day in the White House, sat with him in the Oval Office, have warned America, Donald Trump is not fit to be president of the United States and should never again occupy our nation's highest office. So and we're not going back. So it comes down to this. It comes down to this. We are here together because we love our country. We love our country. And we understand the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Right. And so, I believe it is the highest form, then, of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country and to fight to realize the promise of America. So, North Carolina, we have 54 days until Election Day, 54 days, and just 35 days until early voting begins. And it's not only the presidency that's on the ballot. There are many important races, including Josh Stein running for governor. Whose opponent was handpicked by Donald Trump and wants a total ban on abortion in this state. Right. So these are the stakes in this election. Up and down the ballot. Up and down the ballot. But we know the power is with the people. The power is with the people. And your voice is your vote, North Carolina. Your vote is your voice. And we know, here's the thing also, we are loving our campaign, aren't we? We are loving this campaign. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. I know that. But here's also the thing. Ours will be a very tight race until the end, okay? It's going to be a tight race until the end, and we are the underdog. Understand that. We are the underdog. There are powerful forces trying to convince people that their vote doesn't matter. There are powerful forces here, too. But I say all that to say we've got some hard work ahead of us.
Bae, she's talking about APAC.
I love about everybody here. We love hard work. Hard work is good work.
She's about to start ripping into Israel. She's like, Donald Trump was right. Elect me and Israel will not exist in 2 years.
With your help, we will win in November. We will win. We will. We will win. So, North Carolina, today I then ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you and God bless the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, this is still very much in the same fucking pocket, in the same vein. You know, fuck Donald Trump. I'm the guy. I'm the gal. She has better stage presence. I think she's like developing more confidence. She has more, she has definitely more charisma, I would say, overall. But it's just that I think personally, it's just not going to carry her across the finish line. And what you say at your rallies matters, right? What you say at your rallies matters. What do I mean by this? You are talking to your hyper-focused base. Donald Trump in his rallies goes nutty mode. I mean, he's saying unhinged ass shit, right? That's his campaign messaging. That's what he cares about. That's what he knows his fans care about. And in a lot of instances, like, he's actually speaking to some of his loyalists, right? He's speaking to the people and reflecting back their most unhinged sentiments. It always strikes me as odd that whenever I listen to Democrats, I feel like Democrats are teaching members in their most like hyper-focused group of support, like what they should be excited for, rather than reflecting back to them what they are excited for. They're like, hey, listen, like, we're going to attack Donald Trump. Listen, we're going to do harm reduction. Listen, we're going to be better than the Republicans. Like, the Republicans, on the other hand, are like, when they go to their rallies, because these are the most loyal supporters, right? These are the people who are die hard. They're like going there and they know exactly what those people want, and they're giving that to them, right? And they say unhinged ass shit at those fucking rallies. It is really interesting to see this dynamic that, like, Democrats go there with one goal in mind, and that is to be like, listen, you got to vote for us because we're better than those other guys. Like, I don't think that's all people want to hear about. You know what I mean? They are just spoon feeding libs talking points as to why they are the greatest, because these idiots are tribalism incarnate. Another Bush Republican endorsement. Alberto Gonzalez, oh my God, who was President George W. Bush's attorney general, found legal rationale for torture and warrantless surveillance of American citizens, endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. JD Vance went on a podcast called Viva Fry and said that we are currently in an internal battle that is a continuation of the Civil War, and he's on the side of the South. Couldn't be more of on the nose if a Hollywood lib spoofed it. That's insane. I need to see the video. Come on, dog. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Oh, this guy is literally just, he is poison, man. He is fucking poison. He is so, how can you be this bad, dog? I mean, dude, I swear to God, it's column A, column B, column A, column B every single time. Motherfucker, you're a senator from Ohio. What the fuck's wrong with you? You literally played a formative role, okay, on the other side, or your ancestors did. That's number one. But what I want to talk about is how funny it is that we just got done being like, the Democrats are just like playing to lose. They're playing scared. They're not reflecting like what people on the ground want from them, right? And immediately it's like these guys are just exploding. They are so fucking bad, dude. How? It feels like it's a race to the goddamn bottom at this point. Like, you have to understand, like, who does this appeal to, my man? Like, you already have the base. You already have the base. Who is like, oh, hell yeah, JD Vance is not gay and loves the Confederacy? Well, I wasn't voting for Trump, but now that I know his idiotic baby man with a beard and mascara is actually saying the South's gonna rise again, I'm gonna vote for Trump extra hard. Like, that's a guy who was voting for Trump already. Who are you messaging to? I love this fat baby man with a beard. It's going to bring out the Klan voters. Dog, if you think the Klan voters weren't already primed to vote for the Republican Party, I don't know what to tell you. They don't need any additional messaging. The only thing that this does is piss some people off in the fucking North who are like, oh, what the fuck are you saying?
Mike once told me that American history it's a constant war between Northern Yankees and Southern Bourbons, where whichever side the hillbillies are on wins, right? And that's kind of how I think about, you know, American politics today.
Wait, what? But the Confederacy, what? Who were the? Is he saying the hillbillies were on the northern side?
Is like the Northern Yankees are now the hyper woke sort of coastal elites. The Southern Bourbons are sort of the, you know, the same old school Southern folks that have been around and influential in this country for 200 years. And it's like the hillbillies have really started to migrate towards the Southern Bourbons instead of the Northern woke people. That's just like a fundamental thing that's happening in American politics.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Are you saying that the old South was woke? Like, what the fuck? Like, the Confederacy was woke? And that's why the hillbillies were on the side of the Yankees? But now the hillbillies are on the side of the fucking Southern extension and continuation of the fucking of the continuation of the Confederacy. Like, what the fuck?
Politics, guy. You know, but Mike once told me that
it's so dumb, dude. This guy's so fucking stupid. Please translate. I don't speak JD Vance. Yeah, the Confederacy wasn't racist enough for the hillbillies. I love these guys so much. Like, these right-wing podcasters who are like, we're the real Americans, and it's like, dude, you are just as gay as everyone else, okay? Straight up. Like, look at me, look at you, okay? We're the same, dog, okay? We're the same. Ayo. Not really, because at least I fucking work out and shit. It's my favorite fucking thing when these, like, right-wingers are like, yeah, we're fucking macho alpha dog, you know? And then what's your output? Your cultural output is a podcast that 8 people listen to? You're fucking pathetic, dude. You're just as gay as I am, okay? And on top of being a homosexual just like myself, you're a fucking failure, okay? These guys are like, oh, we're so fucking alpha. We're so goddamn alpha, dude. Yeah, hell yeah. I love being a right-winger alpha dog. It's like, what are you doing? You're speaking into a microphone. Holy shit. I agree, but working out is gay as fuck too. I know, it is. I work at Boeing and I'm back from voting to strike. The result will be ready by 9 p.m. tonight. 33,000 workers about to strike. Let's go, baby. Congratulations to the Boeing workers. It's strike time. I think JD's so desperate he would come on your show even. Ugh. I think he's a repulsive little freak. I would have a hard time having a conversation with him. I also am like legitimately afraid of Peter Thiel. He's like one of the only people in this country that I'm actually scared of. Like, not even a joke. Why? Peter Thiel? Good reason to be afraid of Peter Thiel. All right, let's do the Harry Enten analysis.
To call on voters to register, young voters especially, to register to vote. The night before that, she had announced her support for Kamala Harris. And one voter registration group has pointed to a huge spike in traffic and telling CNN the Swift effect is undeniable. Let's look at all of this. Harry Enten is here. So, undeniable.
Great
You
word.
get to be the judge on that. This all gets to young voters.
Yeah.
How much does she need help? How can?
Yeah, I mean, why does Kamala Harris welcome Taylor Swift's support? Why does she need the help? Well, let's just point out something that I have been noting all along during this campaign, and that is the underperformance that both Joe Biden and now even Kamala Harris has among young voters. All right, so this is the Democrat versus Trump margin among voters age 18 to 29 or under the age of 30. You go back 4 years ago at this point. Look, Joe Biden had a 28-point advantage. A 28-point advantage over Donald Trump. Now, you look when Joe Biden dropped out of the race, he was up by just 7 points. Now, Kamala Harris has improved on Joe Biden's standing, but look at this. She's only up by 15 points. That is significantly less than Joe Biden was up at this point among the youngest voters in our electorate. It's only about half the margin that Joe Biden was pulling in. So Kamala Harris will absolutely welcome in the support of Taylor Swift if she can move young voters at all, because the bottom line is Kamala Harris is, in fact, not doing as well among young voters as you might expect a Democrat to necessarily be doing based upon history.
And what we heard from Taylor Swift last night was a call to register to vote, get involved. Why? How much of voter registration and why is that key? How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's go to the key battleground states of Pennsylvania and North Carolina, all right? And what we're going to do here is look at the Democratic advantage over Republicans in voter registration. This is party registration, registering as a Democrat, a Republican, or unaffiliated. Look, if you go back to September of 2020, look, among active voters in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you saw Democrats with, look at that, a 559,000 voter edge over Republicans. You jump now, look, Democrats still have an edge, but look how much that's dropped. It's now just 169,000. We're talking about the Republicans closing the gap by nearly 400,000 voters in just a 4-year time span. You go to North Carolina, it's the same exact trend, right? You go back to September of 2020, you see Democrats with a 415,000 voter edge, and now they still hold an edge, but it's just 128,000. And of course, both of these states were determined by less than 100,000 voters.
Sorry, my mom went and picked up Kaya from the vet. Do you find it incredibly interesting that mainstream media never tries to dive into why Kamala and Biden aren't doing really well with young voters? No, because that would require them to think about like progressive policies and how they should lean into certain things like that. And obviously, corporate-backed mainstream media absolutely fucking hates having that conversation, because corporations hate having that conversation, because young voters are obviously very invested due to their current class status. Especially young voters are very interested in policies that are very progressive, and progressive policies are harmful to the corporate profit motive. They are harmful to the bottom line of corporations. That is precisely the reason why they will never fucking talk about that sort of thing. Okay? That is also the reason why they have created this mythical narrative surrounding the undecided voter. It is a lie, okay? I don't know how else to describe it. It is a fucking lie. This mythical, undecided moderate is always in the middle on these issues. They're the middle of the road guy who's just simply in between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. The median voter in the United States of America has some collective total of the most insane and oftentimes inherently contradictory positions. You have to look at what their priorities are in their top 5 things that they care about and try to tackle those issues. That's it. That's how you win. And when you look at the top priorities for people, year over year, it is always going to be people that want, healthcare to be affordable or free, people that want educational attainment to be affordable or free, people that want rent to be affordable. Okay? Free would be even better, but you know what I mean. Like, those are the main things, right? Those are the main things that people care about. Those are the main things that impact their lives. And it's especially so for younger people. Okay? Why are they voting right then? Because in that okay, so here's how this goes. And I will use the example of Latino voters in the state of Texas, because I think that's one of the best examples that you can use in this regard. A lot of people go, why the fuck are Latinos in Texas voting for the Republican Party? This doesn't make any sense. What the fuck? They're a pretty solid, reliable voting bloc for the Texas GOP. Why? Well, because, one, they've been, generationally Texans for a lot longer than most white people in this fucking country. That's one of the reasons. And so, they don't consider themselves to be like in the same vein as like undocumented migrants in any capacity, and inherently might even have reactionary attitudes towards that sort of thing. But beyond that, Latino voters in general, especially in the South, consistently poll very positively on progressive economic policies, a bigger social, a bigger welfare state. They are for it. Okay. But if one side is never actually advocating for that at all, and the other side is not advocating for that either, but at least they're giving them something that they care about, like if they're Catholic, for example, if they're very religious, for example, the other side, the Republican Party, regularly hits them on that note on issues like abortion, or consistently pumps their communities full of misinformation in terms of like, trans people, they're transing the youth, they're doing this, they're doing that. Especially if you have lower educational attainment across the board, okay, you are more likely to hyper focus on at least some of the things that these people are putting in front of you. Okay, that's it. And in defense of this, if the Democratic Party wanted to launch a solid defense against this kind of strategy, all they would need to do is offer the Hispanic voting bloc, the Latino voters in Texas, the Latino voters in all these other states, things that they care about, okay? Things that they fucking care about, things that improve their lives, okay? But when they don't do that, and the other side at the very least, like, looks at their situation and says, like, we're not going to fix your material conditions, but hey, these guys are trying to make things worse for you. They're transing the children. And we're going to protect abortions, or we're going to make sure that, nobody gets an abortion or whatever the fuck, then yeah, they go, all right, well, this guy at least offers me guns, and I like guns. This guy at least offers me, at least tells me like I'm right to be angry, and that I should be angry at this thing that I don't fully understand. And then they go and fucking vote for the Republicans. That's how it works. Half of my boyfriend's family's undocumented. They literally want to have family. They literally want to have family members who are citizens vote for Trump because Dems are transing the kids. And I don't know how to explain to them that they will get deported if Trump wins. Yeah. I don't know a single Latino voter who thinks that. Well, you might be in a fucking primarily blue state. Also, you are literally in this chat, which means you're probably like close to the age of 30 or under the age of 30. And of course, Latino voters under the age of 30 are some of the most like pro-socialist motherfuckers you've seen in this goddamn country. They were the most reliable voting bloc for Bernard Sanders. So that's an entirely different conversation to be had there. We're not talking about you. Okay? We're talking about 7th generation Texas, 7th generation Texans of like Mexican descent that have been in this country for longer than most white people in the fucking Northeast, okay? Do you think Kamala is 13 on young people than Biden was in 2020 because all the Sneeko, Aiden Ross, Andrew Tate viewers being under the age of 18 back then? Young men are 50-50 now, or is it more so because of the greater awareness of the Democrats' policy on Israel-Palestine? I think it's both. I think it's both. People who had Texas move to them. Yeah. The dudes who say the border crossed me. Yeah. I'm from Texas and Latino. Half of my extended family's hardcore MAGA. My parents still talk to this day about how Reagan was giving, how great Reagan was for giving them amnesty. That's the other side of the equation, too. Leftist Latinos really need to start speaking up. Latinos are about to overtake the white people in the next decade as the majority Republican voters. I mean, Latinos are the white people in this equation, at least in terms of like census data and the way that like a lot of Latinos view themselves. Whiteness is not about the color of your skin. Whiteness is a socio-political construct. Okay. And there's hella Latino voter blocks that have already been firmly committed to the white voter block, regardless, like Cubans, right? And what is actually currently happening is that with the reactionary slant that you're seeing, there's even like fucking Mexican dudes and Guatemalan dudes and shit that are also now joining that categorization. When will they stop trying to use colors with this concept? Is single-handedly is keeping it from being understood by the masses? No, not single-handedly being. That's only one of the tricks that is being used to undermine the truth and change public sentiment. This is an inherently white supremacist system. It's there's a shitload more propaganda, trickonology. Yeah. I will never forgive Yakub. I will never forgive Dr. Yakub for inventing white people. He ruined the planet.
Back in 2020. So the bottom line is Republicans have been doing a significantly better job of registering voters than Democrats have been doing over the last 4 years and getting folks to switch over from Democratic registration to Republican registration. So yeah, Kamala Harris would definitely welcome the idea if Taylor Swift could bring in some more younger voters, Democratic-leaning voters in the electorate, because the bottom line is Republicans have been doing a heck of a lot better job of registering voters than Democrats have over the last 4 years.
I mean, this seems like a warning sign. Well, in the results of it, we have to wait and see, right?
Yes.
I mean,
the Dem edge over GOP and voter registration is dropping in key states. I don't know what the current registered voter number is. I think this is just like new registered voters. But from what I understand, Michael from Pennsylvania was talking about how like the Democratic Party's like registered voter advantage over the Republican Party in the state of Pennsylvania in 2008 was 1 million. 1 million. 1 million. Okay. That's pretty fucking crazy. Here, let's talk about one other aspect of the youth vote.
Right now on the ground here in the U.S. with young voters, particularly young voters who are not white, the issue that they are talking about is not Ukraine. The issue that they're obsessed about, and I would say rightly so, is what's happening in Gaza. So that I would say I would have liked for the debate to have spent a little bit more time on international issues, on the question of Gaza. And I just have to say that in that moment when Kamala looks at Donald Trump and says this, right?
Wait, what do you mean? This is on Christian Amanpour, chat. No one is watching this, okay? I'm sorry. This might as well be CNN International, okay? You're not going to see this. New York Times is not going to incorporate this to their analysis ever. And Jake Tapper's never going to utter those words, and neither is Dana Fash nor Anderson Cooper.
When she looked at him and said it to his face, you are considered a disgrace.
Also, she said rightfully so. So before you fucking yell about that.
Obsessed about, and I would say rightly so, is what's happening in Gaza. So that I would say I would have liked for the debate to have spent a little bit more time on international issues, on the question of Gaza. And I just have to say that in that moment when Kamala looks at Donald Trump and says this, right? When she looked at him and said it to his face, you are considered a disgrace. On the international scale, this is where people are just like, wow, this is going to be the president? This is going to be our president again, when it's not just Ukraine, now it's Gaza. But sadly, she was not able to seal the deal on the question of her position on Gaza. And I think that this is one of the main points for international foreign policy that will you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but it could make or break her election. And so that's where I would be focusing the attention now.
I know you hate my take on this because I have faith here, rumors law, but I think Kamala goes left on Israel Palestine by going anti-Bibi with a Gaza reconstruction plan within a month. I'll put my flag down. If I'm wrong, I'll be mega sad. Yeah, let me tell you something, okay? One, too little, too late, and also not enough. Okay? Not only is it too little, too late, but it's also going to not be enough. So even if she did that, even if she fucking did that, she should have done that a month ago. She should have done that a month ago and then fucking built off of that, built off of the momentum from that into taking a hardened position. Okay? She has routinely said that she is not denying weapons transfers to Israel at this point. It's just not going to happen. BBC covered the story of some Hasanabi heads who are, you know, refusing to serve in the Israeli military, by the way. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was fun. The main thinking is that she's waiting until it's too late for AIPAC to spend election money. I'm pessimistic, though. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, okay? At that point, it's done, okay? It's done. Like, people need time to trust you, okay? People need time to believe you. And if you have spent that time, if you have spent all of that time since the swap out, positioning yourself directly in opposition to the point that you're going to inevitably arrive at, it's going to be too fucking late. Okay? Early voting has already started. You can't go Holocaust Harris mode for like the past 2 months and then be like, oh, just kidding, actually. We're going to switch that off. And knowing how the Democrats operate and knowing how she's communicated on this issue with like some of the residual Obama stank associated with this kind of sentiment, like the NGO focused, approach to the subject matter where she says like Palestinians need self-determination. Like, you know, as every other day, there's like fucking 70 Palestinian children that are being wiped out by American weapons that we're shipping them still. Okay? You don't share the opinion that people think she's trying to hint at a better position for Palestine, but can't go full on without basically contradicting Joe Biden that she's still vice? Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's bullshit. And if that's the case, then it's not only is it cowardly, but it's also idiotic. And I gave you a historical reason as to why that's idiotic, okay, with LBJ. It was a failure. It was a failure of Humphrey to do this far too fucking late. And, you know, you said it first, and I found an article about LBJ's Vietnam issue. Yep. The specter of Hubert Humphrey haunts Kamala Harris. A Democratic convention in Chicago isn't the summer's only echo with 1968. After the Democrat in the White House decided not to run for re-election, the VP got the presidential nod. Hubert Humphrey faced that choice in 1968. Kamala faces it now. There are so many patterns that keep repeating themselves. That have happened throughout American political history. The LBJ, Joe Biden versus Hubert Humphrey, Kamala Harris dynamic is glaringly obvious. It is so obvious that I'm shocked that more people don't actually talk about this. Okay? Not only that, but also on the other side, you have a Ronald Reagan style presidential candidate who has basically carbon copied Ronald Reagan, who has every opportunity to sidestep the Democratic Party and communicate directly with Benjamin Netanyahu. Republicans have, under Nixon and under Reagan, literally fucking cut deals with foreign nationals, with foreign entities, specifically to cook the books in terms of the election on an unfavorable issue. Okay? Ronald Reagan survived an assassination, so did Donald Trump. It's like bar for bar. Chatter's thinking that Kamala is somehow more left-leaning than she is because there were takes in 2020 when she instantly went way to the right on everything is naive, wish people wouldn't do this shit. I mean, that's why I was always very careful. I was to not instill to not create like a sense of confidence in Kamala Harris of her like being secretly this like progressive. The reason why I didn't want to do that is because I told you, like, a California senator in 2019 was always going to be more progressive than their actual ideological, their actual real opinions and how they would legislate, because they have no power. When Democrats have no power, they'll fucking act like they're Maoists. She just made $600 million in 2 months. What is Chatters yapping about? Hasanabi talking to an average American voter be like, nerdy ass politics chatter needs to understand who really votes. Yeah, this is the other side of the equation. She has fundraised $1 billion. Okay, she has fundraised $1 billion fucking dollars since she was announced. According to leftist YouTubers, you apparently didn't do that. It's like they don't listen to any words you say. Yeah, they're leftist YouTubers, brother. What are we talking about? Like, I'm sorry, no disrespect. I love them all, but they're fucking leftist YouTubers, okay? They do not represent a fucking real constituency. We're not having a serious conversation at this point. There's a reason why I never fucking talk about like other leftist YouTubers if they, you know, have analysis that I disagree with, because why the fuck would I do that? Like, Republican YouTubers literally have the capacity to change political discourse in this goddamn country and even promote pogroms. Leftist YouTubers don't have that capacity at all. They don't have anything. Half of them aren't even fucking American, if you're talking about like bad empanada or whatever. Yeah, I mean, this is a funny take, but this is the average American. High likelihood that the person that you are subjecting to the death penalty might not have actually committed the crime. There are plenty of people who are currently on death row, including a very famous case of a man in Texas. It's your state.
Yes,
this guy is autistic. In a lot of instances, actually, this happens very frequently. People with personality disorders, unfortunately, are overrepresented in people within death row that might get falsely accused of a heinous crime that they actually did not commit. The famous case in Texas I'm referring to is an old man who's been in prison, I believe, on death row for, 25 years at this point. The main detective who actually prosecuted him, or I mean not prosecuted, but arrested him and investigated the case, now thinks he's innocent and is trying to get him off death row, but he still cannot do that.
Let me stop you right there.
What? Yeah. Kamala Harris raised $47 million in the 24 hours after the debate, her biggest 24-hour period since the launch days. I think these are also the reasons that, okay, these two stories, I'm going to show you side by side, okay? This, Kamala Harris campaign raised $47 million in the 24 hours after the debate. And this, J.D. Vance went on a podcast called Viva Fry and said that we are currently in an internal battle that is a continuation of the Civil War, and he's on the side of the South. Okay? Those two stories back to back is exactly why I still think Kamala Harris is going to win. Okay? That's it. Like, Republicans have horrible instincts and they're leaning into like the most insane shit when they could be running an adequate campaign, but they just refuse to do so. They refuse to be fucking normal. Okay. And the Democrats do have a lot of promising prospects, let's say, like that show that there is a lot of popularity or there is a lot of need. Here's a TikTok from a Hasanabi head that sums up what you've been saying about Kamala.
Piker said that Democrats will always manage to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory, and he is so correct. We're 2 months out from the election, about 30 days before...
I saw this TikTok. It's a great TikTok. I got to pee real quick here.
Piker said that Democrats will always manage to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory, and he is so correct. We're 2 months out from the election, about 30 days before early ballots start going into mailboxes, and the presidential debate is tomorrow, and the Harris campaign has finally announced the policies that they believe in. There's two problems. Actually, there's more like one problem, but the one problem has two facets to it. Basically, what they've done is essentially just copy and paste the Biden campaign's stance on policies. That's what we in the biz call a bad move, because it means that just like the Biden campaign, the Harris campaign's policies are incredibly unspecific. Like, they say they want to raise the minimum wage. Okay, to what? They say they want to restore Roe v. Wade. Okay, how? They say they want to, ban assault weapons. Through what means? And since these are all the exact same vague promises that Biden made, why should anyone trust you to actually deliver on it when the administration that you're working for isn't doing that. All of the exciting things that make people want to vote for Democrats are gone, and all of the things that basically just make Democrats Republicans from 2008 are present. The only things that are really specified in this policy page are tax credits. And Democrats, I'm gonna hold your fucking hands when I say this. No one cares about tax credits. Just give people free money. Finally, deciding to run as Joe Biden's Agenda Part 2 was stupid because people didn't just not like Joe Biden because he was old. He is a historically unpopular Democrat due to his politics. The old shit just pushed him over the line. This race should be nowhere near this close, but Democrats are addicted to losing. It's like they can't get enough of it.
Another similarity is that Hubert Humphrey also never won a single primary contest, although he did get votes from closed caucuses and being friends with the party bosses. Why tie yourself to a dude with 30% approval? Yeah, it's really funny because that dude's approval rating went up because he dropped out. Okay? That's the funniest thing. Like, people were like, thank God he's no longer fucking the bag up. So his approval rating went up, and Kamala was like, that's the guy I want everyone to associate me with. The guy who I literally replaced because he was so patently unlikable. And before people say it's because the Democrats are the controlled opposition party, okay? Before people say that it's because Democrats are also backed by the same corporate entity and that they are the opposition party, they have a vested interest in continuing the profit focused short-term collapse of the American economy in the same way that the Republicans are, yada, yada, yada. It's like, dog, I know, okay? I know. But that's not who I'm talking to right now. I'm talking to you, okay? And I'm making an argument as to I'm helping you and others like you arrive at that conclusion by showing you verifiable fucking proof that, like, the Democrats are working to lose. There is a shit ton of people in here that do not have that same approach that you do, okay? There's a shit ton of people in here that think that the Democratic Party is doing their best, that believe what they see when they hear the MSNBC coverage on the mythical moderate, or when they see the CNN coverage on the moderate undecideds that just want like middle of the road policy from Kamala, and that's how they're going to get off their asses and go out and vote. I have to counter that propaganda. Okay? I have to counter that propaganda. That's my job, is to counter that propaganda. That's what I'm doing when I do that. Okay? But yes, that underlying basis for why the Democratic Party operates that way is, of course, true. And I talk about it all the goddamn time. Just now is not the time for that.
Registration doesn't equal votes, but it's something of an indicator.
It's an indicator.
Speaking of indicators, what is the Swift effect?
Yeah, what is the Swift effect? So, look, what do we know? Visitors to vote.gov due to Taylor Swift, who clicked on that link on her Instagram post. As of 2 p.m. yesterday, look how many folks clicked on that link. It was 338,000 folks. Now, not all those folks, obviously, are going to register to vote. But the bottom line is this is a ton of folks who could be entering the electorate. Look, it's not necessarily something that's going to change the election if Donald Trump ends up winning by 2 or 3 points. But, of course, the votes in these key battleground states are so tight that any help that you could get at all, this is a clear effect of folks going and getting interested to register to vote. You saw last night Taylor Swift again urging folks to go register to vote. Democrats will take any of the help because the bottom line is this election is so close that any small impact could be all the impact in the world, Kate.
Are you saying turnout matters?
Turnout.
Sarah?
You two goofs. All right, so how much of an impact might Taylor Swift make with young voters? I'm joined now by CNN political commentator Van Jones. He's also a former Obama administration official, and Meredith McGraw, national politics correspondent for Politico. Van, to you, we have to see if there is a Swiftie effect.
The guy who really is tapped into the youth vote is the guy who cried real tears on camera when Joe Biden dropped out. Let's go to that guy who cried real tears when Joe Biden dropped out. Okay? Fucking Harry Sasson has a better understanding of the goddamn youth vote, and he certainly doesn't. I'm just saying he has a better understanding of the goddamn youth vote than fucking Van Jones. Okay? I compared you and Hasanabi and your chat's reactions to the debate and Asman in his chat Are there actually a large amount of Russian boss trolls, or are there genuinely so many people who believe Kamala is just a liar? If yes, how do you win them over to our cause? Wait, oh yeah, there's a lot of Republicans in Asmongold's community. No, like those are genuine people. Also, Kamala does lie. What do you mean? Every politician lies.
Coining the phrase,
Yes.
a Swiftie effect. She certainly had an effect on people being interested in registering to vote. We don't know if they actually did. They did click on the link. Do you think she could make an impact? Because you and I have talked about this before. Usually celebrities don't really, they don't really change people's minds.
Well, here's the thing. What she can do is to motivate people who might have been Kamala curious to actually look at Kamala Harris as an option. And you do have a whole different world. You and I, we watch television, we know the news, we hopefully everybody at home watches us every day. A lot of people don't. Wake up call to the political class. A lot of people don't follow every Donald Trump press conference, everything that Kamala Harris has ever done. And so when they're on in their Instagram, their TikTok, when Taylor Swift, if she moves her left elbow, it's massive news. And so what you're doing is you're creating an on-ramp to politics for a generation of young people that may not honestly have been paying attention at all. And so just the mere fact that you get a little bit of a looky-loo, that people are looking over there, gives Kamala Harris an advantage that she would not have had with people who are not political junkies.
That is a heck of a lot of people, 337,000 people.
No, million people.
Right. I mean, 337 clicked on the link, but there are millions of people on her.
There's 300,000 people, as you said, who clicked, but she has 300 million social media followers. She's got more social media followers than a lot of countries have citizens. That's a big deal.
It's about the size of the United States. There were people following her from all over the world. All right. I want to talk about swing states because this is an incredibly close race, and we need to recognize that. Debbie Dingell, Congresswoman from Michigan, talked about her particular state, which was a huge state and a state that Hillary Clinton really needed and lost during her campaign against Donald Trump. Let's listen to what Debbie Dingell said.
I wonder what Van Jones will say about Michigan. I wonder if there's like an automatic 200,000 fucking voters plus that Kamala Harris could win over in the state of Michigan. I can't seem to place my finger on why Michigan seems so close. I just don't know why, especially when Michigan was actually wider when the original swap out happened, and then the communication from the Harris team made that so much closer for some reason.
Michigan is a dead heat. People know, but there's just a lot of people in the middle. I don't understand at times what people see in Donald Trump. They know what will happen to this country if he's president again, but they believe strongly. And it's just closer than people realize.
Meredith, why is this race so incredibly, literally historically close when you look at the polling right now?
Well, we're seeing that there still remain millions of undecided voters. And these people are younger, they seem to skew a little bit male, and there are a lot of educated women who are in this group who still have not made up their minds about Harris or Trump. And both campaigns are working hard to try to win them over and also find out where they are in these key battleground states so that they can campaign there and they can tailor their messaging for them. And the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign are on this blitz in the next few days to try to go to these battleground states and make their message. For the Harris campaign to try to move forward with the momentum they have after the debate, and for Trump to try to reset and refocus on the policy issues that he failed to really talk about the other night.
Van, I do to you. I don't remember.
Like, do they kill you if you say it's Israel or something? Like, do they just like, do they fire you? Like, what's going on? Like, you can't be fucking avoiding this shit. Like the top of the hour ad break. The mythical moderate that you've been talking about. Yeah. The Democratic Party is avoiding the truth. The mainstream media is avoiding the truth harder than subscribers avoid the top of the hour ad break. It's 3 minutes long and it's here. You might not have recognized it if you were already subscribed for $6 or for free. It's 3 minute ad break now.
Remember, and maybe you do. You've been doing this. You've been in this game a lot longer than I have. But
that's true.
But I'm not sure I remember ever hearing someone say we really have to focus on the male vote, the men's vote. But men are actually making a difference here, and they are going towards Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, look, we have a gender gap. There's been one for a while. That's not new. But what's new is, I think, the intensity of it. Okay. I think Donald Trump is running a very masculinist campaign. Kamala's not running a feminist campaign. I mean, she's not, underscoring the fact that she's a woman. Hillary Clinton did that, didn't work out as well. But there is this kind of masculinist approach where you're going to what's called the manosphere, which is a bunch of podcasts that are really aimed at men. He's trying to bring in a lot of the so-called bro culture, and it does have an effect. A lot of young men are saying that they don't feel the Democratic Party sees them in a good light. They think the Democratic Party sees all men as being quote-unquote toxic, and that's starting to have an effect. And so I think Kamala Harris has an opportunity to make up some ground here, because I know her personally. Nobody more enthusiastic about young men being successful than a former prosecutor. She's been somebody rooting for young men in California to get jobs, to get out of trouble, to get on their way. That needs to be underscored more, given the dynamics of the race.
I do want to talk to you about something that the campaign did, the Harris campaign did. They went on Twitter, as one does, and they trolled Donald Trump. I want you to see it. They said, this is our latest campaign ad. And what is it? It is simply the entire debate. There's that laugh again. There it is.
I'm just saying, that's kind of mic drop on that. I love it. It's fun. It's funny because, she whooped him, and I think that Kamala Harris did something that no politician's been able to do in this whole past decade. Donald Trump has been eating up politicians like Pac-Man. He went through 16 Republican governors and senators, whooped them, and made it look easy. Kamala Harris went out there, and she just owned him on every question, and I just think that she's right. I think that's hilarious.
I'm going to show you now our power rankings about to be revealed for the first time.
There is a very real problem with the young male demographic that extends far beyond the Democratic Party's future prospects in this election. I don't know how we're ever going to address that, but the same dynamic exists for them the same dynamic exists for them in the exact same way that you saw in that fucking Tyler Adolf Hitler Oliveira video. It's not just Andrew Tate. It's not just TikTok and gender wars. They play a very prominent role in radicalizing young men. Okay? But having said that, beyond the manosphere shit, there are a lot of men who are, one, being left behind in school. They are not receiving the same educational attainment that women are. Okay? For a multitude of different reasons. This also cuts at their job prospects. Their job prospects are diminishing. Their material conditions, especially when paired up with the entitlement that they feel about where society is supposed to place them as young men, is causing them to be resentful and angry. If you do not solve the underlying material problems, you are not going to win these people over. You are just going to make them more and more right-wing, more and more radical. That's it. Republicans love this environment. They make no sense since the economy is doing better. Bro, what are you talking about? The post-COVID recovery bump understanders or the post-COVID recovery bump explainers objectively forgot that the economy, not by the metrics that you look at the economy on, but just by how people experience the economy, how real working class people feel about the economy, was never good. It wasn't good in 2016 either, okay? It's so fucking stupid that people are just but I don't get it. It's objectively better. It's objectively better than it was during the peak of COVID. It's dude, what are you talking about? This makes it seem like everyone was happy with the fucking economy in 2016. Why do I do any of this fucking commentary? People just like objectively forget all of a sudden. They like shut off a part of their brains. It's not good. Doors open. Doors open. I gotta go outside.
We mentioned a moment ago that there are changes, all right? Let's put it into motion, okay? We believe right now that North Carolina and Georgia have had a shift. They've had some movement. So I want to direct your attention down to the southeastern corner of the country. Georgia and North Carolina are considered toss-ups. So we will now put them.
The American economy has been, in terms of GDP, blowing the fuck up since the 90s. And yet, for some weird reason, people's living standards and conditions have gotten worse beyond like technological advancements making things easier. I wonder why. I wonder why important things that you need for upward social mobility, like educational attainment, have exploded in fucking cost. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Housing is something you need to survive. Exploded in cost. Perhaps that is probably more meaningful in terms of the way that people analyze the economy.
In the same category that we had 4 other states for some time. Nevada and Arizona, no change. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, no change. At the moment, we've got Michigan, lean Democrat, or we should say, yes, right here. Right here is lean Democrat in the blue on the far side of the screen. So watch these states as they hit both of them. Come on, Mr. Magic. Don't fail me now. Okay, we're going to do something super ugly, okay? Team?
We're with you.
Doesn't work. Just doesn't work. I mean, you got to shut the thing down. You got to restart it. All
But
right?
can you point to Wisconsin and tell me about the closeness of that race?
Here's what I want to show you. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, now we can go back in here, Dana. Let's do this. Voila. Apologies about that. Sorry, but these things happen. You know where that would not have happened, Dana? On Elon Musk's spacecraft earlier today, all right? They did it perfectly. These are the states to focus on right now, okay? These are the area that we are going to watch 78 electoral votes among 6 different states and how they break. I would say Pennsylvania, 19 electoral votes. It's the biggest batch in this list here. Don't overlook Georgia. It's 16 electoral votes. North Carolina, 16 electoral votes. Taken together, it's 32, right? Okay? So they matter. They matter in a significant way. In a moment, I'll show you just how much going back to 2020. Our forecast at the moment has Kamala Harris the lead. We've got her at 241. We've got Trump at 219. You need 270 to win. That's the magic number in the end. Okay? And that's our power rankings as of now. A bit later, I want to go back to 2020. I want to show you 3 states in specific. I want to show Wisconsin. I want to show Georgia. I want to show Arizona. Dana, do you know what the total was between those 3 states?
I don't.
Wasn't even 43,000 combined, and that was the difference with Biden winning all 3. And in the end, Trump would have ended up with 269 electoral votes.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News.
Remember that number. Remember that number. This is why I told you the uncommitted movement was very important. But nobody listens to me because what the fuck do I know? Donald Trump was objectively less popular back then at the end of his presidency than he is now. He had 4 years of Democratic Party incompetence from the eyes of the broader electorate and a shitty ass fucking economy, numerous world wars to benefit from. He obviously is really fucking bad at campaigning. He has a hard hill to climb because people straight up have made their minds on him. Having said that, however, this is why I always say this is the Democrats' race to lose. This is why I say it's the Democratic Party's race to lose.
Damn, this guy's good.